Apparently, if we study Duolingo's TikTok and the way they create short form content, we can learn a lot about going viral, generating millions online for a software or service based business. So in this video, I will sit down with you, audit their social media and Duolingo and see exactly what they're doing well, what we can learn from it, and what's probably a waste of time or distraction for us as well. I've been told it's really worth looking at Duolingo stuff by quite a few 6 and 7 figure business owners. So I'm very curious to find out what we're involved with. So I'll share my screen and talk you through it. On TikTok, what's cool with TikTok, if you don't know already, is you can filter videos by oldest, but also more importantly than that, by most popular. So why that's amazing is because if you have different categories of content you create, so if you're a fitness coach, you might be talking about training, nutrition, and mindset, as an example. You can find people that share training content and then go on their most popular videos and find ways to recreate that type of content or those topics to go viral, right? That's why it's so good to do that. Whereas on Instagram, you can't do that. In terms of the content they created, so one of the most popular ones that supposedly generate them a lot of sales for their business that I've been told to look at is one that they killed the Duolingo app or something like that, the Duolingo man or whatever it was. So let's find that video so I know what we're talking about. That's the one I was told is very worth looking at. This video here is the one that's supposedly done really well and it's generated them a lot of sales. So let's dive into it and find out if there's anything we can learn from this video. I like the one thing I pick up is how like it's a multi-million pound company at least. And they didn't even bother taking off the stock footage of the of that death video thing. But in terms of the content itself, I mean, this one's quite funny. I suppose it did really well because a lot of people were questioning whether this Duolingo thing is forever gone because it got hit by a car. It also had Elon Musk giving it awareness by responding to it on Twitter because it was a Tesla Cybertruck. So one thing that we can take from this video itself that isn't going to be as silly is the collaboration with Tesla was quite interesting to see in this video, because I don't know if they did it consciously or not, but because it was a Cybertruck, like the Cybertruck, and Elon Musk is obviously very popular and a very big figure and has a lot of followers and a lot of eyeballs, him simply resharing that story or resharing on his Twitter probably got them a load of followers and potential clients for their app. That's really interesting. And there's a lot we can take there. So if you're selling a service-based, fitness offer, for example, a big thing we can take from this, and big thing we can learn from this as well, is that not being so afraid of trying to find people that you can collaborate with that may have your audience could be really powerful. So, if you sell fitness, you might want to look at people that maybe look at mindset, so like therapists, hypnotherapists. You might want to look at hairdressers, beauticians, people like that probably have your audience already. Probably be worth looking at ways to recreate or collaborate with content with them. For example, we have a client who helps brides lose weight and get in shape for their weddings. She collaborates a lot in terms of with wedding venues, with hairdressers, with wedding clothing companies, and she gets a lot of clients from that just because she creates content together. She gets people on podcasts that have her audience, and that does really well in terms of bringing the right people in and really skyrocketing and growing her social media really drastically with qualified leads, right? So one thing you can do is just look at what are the topics you talk about, who has your audience that doesn't sell exactly fitness coaching, and look at ways to recreate content, get them on a podcast or do a training video together, and get someone to film you training with them in the gym and talking, like those kind of gym style podcasts do really well from a content perspective. So different variations, different ideas like that can be really powerful. In general, other things from Duolingo's TikTok I'm seeing, I think it's very good. Like, I think it's very good in terms of they just use this very much as a top of funnel piece of social media. So they're just pulling in as many views as possible for social media just by being silly with it and just by getting a lot of people to engage with this. It's a very TikTok style bit of content. It's very fast, much faster than Instagram or YouTube. My big concern personally with this is like I can see why it works for Duolingo, because Duolingo just generally sells quite a cheap product and quite a cheap service, or an app, which is, I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head per month, but I know it's quite cheap, and they also have the free trials. So they're just trying to get as many people onto the app as possible, which is good, because most people probably in the entire world, there's probably 8 billion people, most people could probably use Duolingo to learn English or learn Spanish or French or any language. So it's very universal software that most people can work, so they can be very broad at the top and basically talk to anyone and be very silly. If we're selling a service, however, so if we're selling like teaching a language for like Zoom calls, or if we're selling fitness coaching, I do think we need to be much more specific and targeted and broad with the content we're creating. The reason we need to be much more targeted and broad with the content we're creating is because this is just going to push people away. It's going to push people away that want to spend serious money to actually fix the problem, right? So this is a really, really important reminder and a really good thing to keep in mind. If you're just too vague with your content and you try and speak to everyone, what you can end up doing is you can push away the people with serious money that want fast results and are willing to pay one-to-one and willing to pay a lot of money to fix a problem. So let's keep that in mind when it comes to Duolingo and what they're doing. And one final kind of a bonus point that you can take from Duolingo is their attention and their virality on content is absolutely phenomenal. So one thing you can do, which I'd highly recommend doing, is if you struggle with growing your social media and you struggle getting enough leads and clients and followers, if you just go to your if you just go on TikTok, for example, and you go on most popular on people that post mindset or training or nutrition, if you sell a fitness coaching offer, look at topics, look at ideas that are going viral. So you might want to search on here, you might want to search motivation, or you might want to search mindset or training. And what you can then do is find creators on here that are already doing really well and getting a lot of views. Obviously, just click on the profile, click on most popular. It will show you ideas in terms of content and talking points that are already going very viral. What you can do is two things once you see this. You can either take this video as a standalone video, so you can take this like this, download the video, put your phone in front of you, watch you react into the video for the first 3 to 5 seconds. Once you react, you just say, here's what I believe, here's what's true, here's what maybe I don't agree with in this video, right? Because this does so well, because you pull the attention from the viral video already and you just share your opinion. But as with anything, make sure when you're doing this type of content, if you are going to do it, the content you're reacting to is hyper specific with people you're going to work with. You don't really want to be reacting to silly content too much, because it probably will become too confusing what you do and how you do it. That's the biggest stuff I would say here with Duolingo's marketing strategy, what's going well, and a few things we can keep in mind in terms of making it better. I don't really do too many reaction-based content style videos like this. So if you do genuinely find this type of content useful, if you do want to see more just like this, or if you have particular topics you want me to react to or talk about next, make sure to hit like so I know, and make sure to hit subscribe so you can stay tuned and see future videos as well. If you want more one-to-one help with growing your coaching business, working with me directly to do that, there will also be an opportunity at the bottom of the description down below for you to inquire. And if we're a good fit, you can book a one-to-one call with me personally, where we'll order your business and see how I can maybe help with it, right? If you have any other questions, make sure to let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.